Hey, I'm Tyler Goebel. I'm in Recording Arts Bachelor's, and I'm going to do my CSI Podcast now. And since I'm in Recording Arts, I'm going to do how technology affects the recording industry. So I'm going to start out with probably the piece of hardware I use the most. It's a DigiDesign Inbox 2 Mini, and it's a basic interface for you to use with different recording programs. This is kind of like the basic model. It's got a USB port to hook up to your computer. It's got a mic input, some input for whatever other instruments you want to use. It's got left and right stereo output. It's also got basic volume controls. This is to control the mix settings, how much of the mix you want to hear in your headphones. And this controls the two different input channels. And it's just a pretty basic piece of gear. And another thing I use a lot is a MIDI controller. I have a M-Audio Axum 25. It's got 25 keys. It's got modulation and pitch bend, 8 drum pads. It's a nice little MIDI controller. It's a pretty cheap one too. The keys are weighted, so it gives it kind of a more realistic feeling. Some of the other hardware I use is obviously instruments such as bass and guitars, and technology for those has really gone a long way too. I mean, they have guitars that tune themselves now. And then microphones, of course. This is a dynamic mic. Again, just a pretty basic one. And then a pop filter, which isn't very exciting. It's just a little screen that keeps hard consonant sounds from making any distortion when you record. And then the other thing I use are recording programs such as Logic or Pro Tools, even GarageBand. I use Logic mainly just because that's the one I'm most familiar with. It's the one I like the most. Those programs are good. They have lots of digital effects you can use. They have lots of great loops and software instruments you can use. Then you can, of course, export it into the different digital audio files that they have. With Logic, you could export it in Apple's lossless, which are really big files, but you don't lose, any of the depth to the recording. Then you can use MP3 is still maybe the most popular. It's a lot smaller file, but you lose a lot of the depth to the recording there. Or you could use a MP4 such as ACC, which is like the standard iTunes format. It's actually a smaller file size than the MP3, but it's a lot higher quality sound to it, so that's probably the one I use the most. And that's a basic rundown, so bye.